the hour. The special counsel investigating President Biden's classified documents scandal from his time as senator and vice president is not expected to bring any charges against him. What a shocker. Instead, Robert Hur claims he will release a report which will criticize how Biden and his aides handled the material. Joe, the president was keeping documents that he wasn't allowed to have in his Delaware garage next to his fancy car.
Right. When you're a Democrat, you face a well-worded report from prosecutors, you know, a very threatening a series of words that has no impact on your life. When you're a Republican who does similar, if not the exact same thing, you face a potential career-ending prosecution. You face potential influence in the upcoming election because obviously anyone facing prosecution going into an election cycle faces a huge disadvantage. There is a clear bias by the FBI in selectively prosecuting certain people, and it still bewilders me today that in 2023 there are still people who do not accept it. There are still people who can look back over the course of the last 5 or 6 years, even going back to, say, Hillary Clinton and her emails and BleachBit and the Blackberries and doing literally the things that we see like mobsters and drug dealers do with their cell phones. If you have seen that, if you bore witness to that over the past 8 years, let's say, and you still think the FBI are apolitical actors, I have a bridge right down the block to sell you, and I'm sure you're going to be gullible enough to buy it.
Well, it's just incredible. Byron Donalds, the congressman from Florida, posted on X his response to all of this. He says this, ready? Meanwhile, Trump faces up to 450 years in prison for holding on to documents less than a year after he left the White House. This is an unequal application of the law. Dismiss the case against Trump immediately, writes Congressman Byron Donalds. There's the tweet on X. The former president is facing a total of 40 counts, possible a $10 million fine for possession of classified documents. And yet Biden, we understand from the special counsel, will face none of that. I spoke with the president's attorney, one of his attorneys, Alina Habba, this week about why he calls this case a witch hunt. She joined me here on Mornings with Maria. Watch.
They are trying to claim that he, his family, his company were committing some sort of fraud by giving a compilation, which anybody who knows anything about accounting, a compilation is something any real estate developer puts together that says, hey, this is what I think my assets are. They're trying to find some liability, some fraud. His response is, this is a witch hunt. If you're a New Yorker, you need to be very worried about this attorney general. She's going to come into private businesses. It is a very scary standard. They did nothing wrong.
This is also troubling, Ryan. I mean, we all see the two applications of the law in plain sight, but they hate Trump so much. They have this willful ignorance about anything else. They don't know about Joe Biden's role in the influence peddling. They don't know about his classified documents and where he kept it. It doesn't matter. All they're clouded by is Trump, Trump, Trump. I'm trying to understand why they hate him to this level. Like, I understand they have Trump derangement, fine. But, I mean, are they so afraid of him exposing their own corruption?
Oh, I think 100%. I mean, what is it, something like 80,000 emails or something that the Joe Biden administration won't give over from different email addresses that he was using? It's wild. And I remember the fanfare when they went in and they actually raided Mar-a-Lago. That was like headline news. Yet you're hearing nothing about these documents that Biden has, and there's no fanfare around it at all, where that was like a huge witch hunt and a huge event when they went in there and they took those documents from Trump. I mean, they made it a huge publicity stunt.
That's right, they did. And they took pictures of everything and put it online. But you just mentioned those 80,000 emails. The House Oversight Committee says that they are still waiting for the National Archives to turn over more than 82,000 pages of Biden pseudonym emails. This is when he used a different name. So far, they've received only 14 pages. So the Federalist is reporting one of Joe's pseudonyms includes an email, champ4@AT&T.blackberry.net, champ4. They claimed son Hunter Biden was sending advice to then Vice President Biden about when he should make public appearances. And Dad was sending back the goings-on inside the Obama White House, Joe, from Champ4.
Look, there's a big difference between doing what most Americans who have a job do, is that they use their work email for work things and they use their personal email for personal things. That's a lot different than having multiple personal email accounts with pseudonyms to disguise your identity so that you can have conversations with your son about his business dealings, which in any other setting would otherwise be illegal. That is the clear difference between what the Biden family was doing and what most Americans just do to trade, Christmas cards and memes about, their favorite sports teams. This is why I think you brought it up before. Like, what do you think they're afraid of with Trump? I think they're afraid of what we're seeing from the House now being expanded to the White House, where we finally have a House of Representatives that is trying to get to the bottom of this FBI political activism that's going on when they choose targets. And we see it right here in New York, too. We're watching this Trump case down in Lower Manhattan, and some of the evidence is absolutely ridiculous. Like, for example, using the tax, the legally assessed tax value of a house in terms of market value. Some of the evidence is a little bit stronger against Donald Trump. The problem with the case, though, isn't about the evidence. It's that the person who is prosecuting the case and who brought the case committed to going after a person. In other words, she targeted a person named Donald Trump before she was ever in office, before she was ever in a position to see evidence, and before she was ever in a position to have an idea about what a crime might be. That's the real problem.
Yeah, for sure.